decided to come back. Thanks for tuning in for the second video. Again, I have 3 or 4 of these that I'm going to do about creating video as an advisor to kind of tell your story and create your brand. So yesterday we talked about the why. Easier to get to know you, easier to form an opinion on whether or not I like you, when I can see and hear you, and then also we can take this content and we can repurpose it across many platforms. So that's the why. Go back and watch that video if you need to be sold on why you should be considering video for your social media strategy, for building your brand and for your content. Today I just want to give you the quick basics of how to get started. So a lot of times I think what keeps us from getting started is the unknown of what do I need, how hard is it going to be. Obviously I think this is something that's going to be hard, but really if you want to do this, it's not hard to get started. And you can keep things very basic. So the very basic way to get started shooting video, bust your phone out. Nobody does it better than Tyrone Ross, the walk and talk. You could do this if you wanted to. Now, I don't think you should do Twitter Live because Tyrone owns that and no one will do it as good as he does. But you can bust your camera out like this and talk to it. You can buy a tripod, let the camera your iPhone sit in front of you. The cameras on these phones these days are just as good as some of the other cameras I'm going to show you here in a minute. So you already have that at your disposal. You just need the topic. You just need the comfort level to sit down and get going. You take that video, you airdrop it, or you send it to your computer. You can even use iMovie on your iPhone. It's hard. I've tried to do that before, but you could trim it up a little bit and put some special effects on it and then send it to YouTube. So the very basic way to get started would be just use the phone that you already have. If you want to step your game up, you really believe in it, you want to invest a little bit of money into your video strategy, then you can start looking at cameras. And the one that I'll recommend, I'm only going to give you one. I have a few cameras. I'll show you another one for another reason. But the main camera, if you're going to buy one camera, I would recommend the Canon G7X Mark II. I'll put links to this in the blog post when there becomes a blog post for this. Again, these videos are going to live on YouTube for a little while as I finish up my website, but then I will have a written blog post for each of these. I'll recirculate this, and there'll be links to all the stuff I'm going to show you here in a minute. But when I got started doing this, I went out to the University of Google and Googled what's the best vlogging camera, and multiple times the Canon G7X came up. Casey Neistat, who is a very famous YouTuber, recommended it. That's the camera he uses a lot, so I figured if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. The reason I like this is it's very small, as you can see. I can travel around with it, I can take it with me. I always have it with me in my backpack. You never know when the opportunity to bust it out and record a video may happen. You can look back to my trip to Santa Monica earlier this year, and Taylor Schulte and Blake Street and I busted it out, had a conversation. No planned conversation there, it was just the moment was there. I had the camera to be able to make it happen. So this is very easy. It shoots great audio, great video. The downside to a camera like this, there's 2. One, they'll only record for like 20 to 25 minutes. If they extend beyond that, then they're considered a camcorder, and there's different tariffs and taxes tied to those, so they don't want it to go. So your video will actually stop on a camera like this, or a DSLR, which is the bigger traditional looking camera. Those will stop about 20-25 minutes in. I've heard you can hack into your camera and override that. I've never tried it. I don't know if it's legal, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But if you're doing short videos like these types of things, this camera is perfect. The screen's going to flip up so you can see yourself, make sure you're centered in there. And also the microphone on it is good if you're inside. The other downside, aside from the limited video shooting, this does not allow you to hook in an outside mic. So there are these boom mics or these shotgun mics that you can hook up to cameras to get a better audio experience. This particular camera won't allow that to happen. So you're relying on the microphone that sits on top. If you're in a room, that's no problem. 90% of my videos are shot in my office using that. I used it to shoot in the Starbucks at Penn Station with Tyrone with no extra mics. Here at Penn Station, this guy's friendly enough to take me back to Newark Airport on my way out of the city. So 2 days. But it's going to pick up more background noise. The worst part about this camera outside of the office, or if you're outside, is wind. This picks up wind a lot and it makes it very hard to hear. So if you're going to be shooting outside, you may want to look to a different type of camera that may have some microphone hookups that are better suited for being outside. But if you're indoors, it's just you or a couple people and you're not shooting long videos, you can't go wrong with this camera. I would highly recommend it. If you're going to be shooting longer form videos, I would then invest in a camcorder. I've tried speaking at a conference, stopping my conversation 20 minutes in to reset the cameras. It was in Pittsburgh at the FPA meeting there earlier this spring. Ask Ashby Daniels about it. I walked around and restarted both my cameras so I wouldn't miss anything. I mentioned I got to stop cameras. That's a good stopping point. So hang on one second. And I'm not embarrassed to do this because I feel like I'm practicing what I preach. So I have no idea what I'm going to do with this video. Content is king. I want as much content as I can, and I will figure out what to do with it later on. Realize that if I'm going to be serious about doing this and trying to record everything that I do, hopefully more speaking engagements come along. They're going to be longer than 20 minutes, so I need something that will keep on running. So I just bought this Panasonic little camcorder. If you have an old school one, that's fine. Shoots in 4K, HD, that wasn't a huge deal to me because the reality of it is this is really just designed to capture me being on stage for a longer period of time and being able to cut up little segments and not wanting to miss out. But this type of camera will actually allow you to hook one of these shotgun mics up so you can get better sound, which I'll come to the sound here in a minute of why that's so important. I keep on bringing that up. But most of you probably are not going to be doing long form video, or if you do, it might be piecing together different things, which again, if you only have a limited budget, I go with something like this Canon. You can research as well. There might be a better one that's come out since I bought mine, but I keep on seeing that camera everywhere. It's highly recommended by those that are doing big things on YouTube, so if it works for them, then it's going to work for me. Longer form, you might want this. Sound, that's another important thing. You need to make sure that you're going to be able to be heard. So I have read and have been told, and if I think about it myself, it's true, your viewers are going to be much more forgiving of a less than perfect picture. So maybe you're not shooting 4K, but you have good audio. If you have crappy audio, but a beautiful picture, they're probably going to go past it because they can't hear you, they can't understand you, and therefore they're not going to really get anything from the message. So you want to make sure that you're going to be able to be heard. Which is why if you're outside, you might want a microphone like this that'll shield some of the wind. There's other ones out there. If you're indoors, you have multiple people or lots of background noise, a mic like that might work as well. There's another type of mic out there that I will show you real quick. I should have got this beforehand. Like little lavalier mics. So I can carry these with me, again, in my backpack. That's where I went, was to the backpack. Plugs into my iPhone. So this would be something that would prohibit you from using your iPhone all the time for your camera. Plug it into my iPhone, it records me and my guest. I take that audio, line it up with the video. It's going to be much higher quality sound than trying to record something outside with a lot of background noise using the mic that's on my camera, or even some of these sometimes. So you don't have to go, depend on where you're going to shoot. If you're going to be doing a lot of outside, then you want to invest in a mic to make sure that you're heard, cut out the wind, and make sure everything is, audible. Otherwise, people are just going to go by. So the final thing, which I don't spend a lot of time on, and maybe I will, is lighting. I'm in my office right now. I've got a window right here. You can see the natural light coming in. You can also see that I'm shadowed over here. I've got a little halo lamp over there that I use. You can see the big one back there that I use sometime as well. I try to get good lighting, more so to set me further in the picture and put the background a little bit darker just because I think that looks cooler. But again, if you can hear me, you're probably going to forgive that I have a shadow on this side of my face. I can do some lighting up in post-production in iMovie. But lighting is important as well. I think the lighting is not the most important thing. I think it's the audio. And then if you can do some things to make the lighting better, that's good. But I wouldn't stress over lighting. I wouldn't spend a lot of money on lighting, especially if you're just getting started. Try to use natural light. Use the overhead light. People are going to be forgiving with that. They just want to be able to hear you and see you. So that is the beginner's kit. What do you need? You need a camera. Could be your phone. If you want to invest a little bit, I say the Canon G7X Mark II. Get those. Mindful of where you're going to be recording. If you're going to be outside a lot, then maybe you need to look to something different or combine this with a lavalier mic. Maybe you want to get a different type of camera and have one of these shotgun mics on there. But I know that seems like it's a lot, but it's really not a lot. It is going to be an investment, but I would encourage you, if you're doing this, you're investing in your business to do more, so you should expect to spend some money. Editing, we've talked about iMovie before. I have another video on there. That's the Mac. I will do some research and do some writing about what should you use if you're going to do some of this on your own. If you're a PC user, I don't know that yet, so I'll research it. But there's the basics. It doesn't take a lot to get started. It's more about you overcoming your fears of being in front of the camera once you find that right camera for you. It's not hard. It's a lot of fun. Go out there, try it. Use your iPhone first, get comfortable with it, do a few videos, see that it's not that hard, and then you can upgrade to the next level. But get started doing it, because again, you're going to hear more and more about video from me because I really believe in it and I want to get more people doing video. Plus, if you all are doing more video, that's more content I can share on my YouTube channel, making my YouTube channel more well-rounded, so it's not always me. I want to highlight your videos as well. So with that, I'm going to let you get going. I'll be back probably next week. Got a busy Friday, which is not normal, but I have a busy Friday, so I'll be back next week with the third video talking more about editing and some special effects you can add to make things better. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.